Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the intern, Ned Reynolds. It's Friday, thank God. Patrick Reed, you might not even have heard that name before, but I'm sure you're going to hear it today, or may have heard it in the last 12 hours. Albatross at the U.S. Open, my man.
Reed has been around. He's been on the tour. They call him Captain America. He has been
Really?
Oh yeah, he's always had that nickname. He's been there flirting with championships and so forth and so on. He's a good golfer, but an albatross, folks, that is so rare in golf. It's the fourth time in U.S. Open history that there's been one, and only, I think it's twice since 2012 or something like that. But whatever the case, Reed had an albatross. So what is an albatross in golf? Quite simply this. It occurs on the fifth hole. That's the only one really in reality that it could occur. And it is your tee shot followed by your iron shot to the green that goes in. In other words, you're 3 under par on that hole. And that's what an albatross. 1 under's a birdie, 2 under's an eagle, and then 3 under is an albatross. And Patrick Reed had one. But the entire thought process for the day is that the Oakmont Country Club is really tough. This is the 10th time the U.S. Open has been played there. And the reason is that Oakmont is very difficult. It's a par 70, 7,300 yards, and it is very difficult. The rough has been allowed to grow, and the players really had difficulty. J.J. Spahn, who was an early starter, had a 66, I should say, and is 4 under par. And that's one shot ahead of a South African golfer, Tristan Lawrence, who plays mostly on the European Tour. The big names in this country, the Scotty Schefflers of the world, the Rory McIlroys and people like that, they really struggled on the course. Scheffler, for instance, 3 over par 73, trails by 7, but don't think for 1 second that he is out of contention. He's not. A lot of golf still to be played, including today, tomorrow, and the championship on Sunday, U.S. Open.
It's a marathon, and I loved Reed's reaction because he didn't know that it had gone in because it's so far away. And then he just pointed. I remember seeing him point his finger down going, it went in? Oh, I love it so much. Last night, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It looked like my boy Travis Kelce and his girlfriend were in attendance.
Of all things,
exciting.
they made in a public appearance. But, hey, be that as it may, this is a hockey match in the Miami area. Sunrise, Florida is where the Florida Panthers play. And Florida is off to a 3-0 lead, and this game's over. But no, it was not. The Edmonton Oilers came back, scored 4 unanswered goals, 4-3. Florida tied it up in the closing minutes of the match that went to overtime, and the Oilers won it in overtime 5-4. And now that series is tied at 2 games apiece. That is pulling a sure defeat right out of the jaws of victory, so to speak. Edmonton the winner in overtime 5-4. Series now tied at 2 apiece.
And finally, what's the deal with the NBA championship?
This is Game 4 tonight. They play at the Gainbridge Arena in Indianapolis, 19,000-seat home of the Indiana Pacers. And the Pacers lead this series 2-1. Nobody thought this was going to happen, including this reporter. The Oklahoma City Thunder are a very strong and powerful team, but the Pacers, pretty doggone good. They got the win 2 nights ago, and now they will play a big one coming up here tonight in Indianapolis. So we'll see what happens. NBA playoffs continuing.
Cardinals in Milwaukee, how they doing?
They lost their 5th in a row, the Redbirds did. And this is a bit of a surprise, and yet it's not a surprise. Milwaukee Brewers win by a score of 6-0, scoring 5 runs in the 5th inning and sending Sonny Gray fleeing to the showers. They hit him around pretty well in the 5th. Prior to that, they had not. But the Cardinals were not responding. On the hill for the Brewers, 6'7" right-hander, making his major league debut, Jacob Misiorowski. Now, to area and statewide high school baseball fans, the name means something because Jacob Misiorowski is out of Grain Valley up in the Kansas City area. He was an all-stater back, 2001, somewhere around there, recruited by Oklahoma State, but decided not to go there. Instead, he went to Crowder Community College down in Neosho. We knew about him. Everybody knew about him. Guy could throw 100 miles an hour. Really good pitcher. And he made his Major League debut last night. I love this, too, because Major League Baseball has a protocol. Guy making his debut, pitcher, throws the first pitch, 100-mile-an-hour strike. They threw the ball out of play. and put it in the dugout, and that's his keepsake for the day. Anyway, fact of the matter remains that Mr. Mizorowski had the Cardinals no-hit through 5 innings. And in the 6th inning, he somehow twisted his ankle, had to be removed from the game. Cardinals could not respond, and the Brewers win by a score of 6-0 over the St. Louis Cardinals, who've now lost 5 in a row. It's going to come to an end, that losing streak. It happens to every team, but I wish it would be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, same thing with the Royals, man. Not a great day in Kansas City yesterday.
1-0, they lose to the Yankees, and they lose it on a wild throw by Lucas Erceg, of all things. He's a top reliever for Kansas City, and he makes a wild throw. The winning run comes in, and it's in the 8th inning, of all things, and the Yankees win 1-0. Yankees sweep the Kansas City Royals at Kauffman Stadium. And here in town, the Springfield Cardinals rally for 2 runs in the 10th inning, beat the Tulsa Drillers 4-3. Springfield, folks, is on a tear. They are now 10 games above 500, 35 wins, 25 losses, and playing very well.
And finally, when does the College Baseball World Series begin?
Today. It begins today with a doubleheader and continues tomorrow. These are all first-round doubleheaders. The 2 games that really have the local interest are tomorrow. That's when Arkansas plays. Arkansas wraps up the first round of competition playing LSU. That'll be tomorrow night. Then tomorrow afternoon, kind of the Cinderella, although I don't think Murray State could ever be considered a Cinderella. They will play UCLA in the first round. Murray State is the Missouri Valley Conference champion. So it all begins this weekend, culminates next weekend with the national championship.
Ned, you have a wonderful Father's Day, and I'll see you on Monday.